Here, folks, it's Mel Away George Page, aka the Emperor of Female Body Talk, coming to you live on YouTube. Folks, you know what it is? It's the first of the month. Grab your chickens, come on. Well, for me, I'm not going anywhere. It just dropped a bunch of snow today here in North Carolina. I think it's a good maybe a few 3 or 4 inches at the most because we don't get it like up like other places. Like you might get a foot or more. Like to quote my other guy, sometimes like this, when it snows other places, like nobody back to the eye, but down south, everybody goes crazy. So, because it's just something different. So, folks, I have a lovely lady, and she is she made her debut as a competitor just this last year. And she was recommended to me by a young lady who's been a guest on my channel, Casey Calhoun, who is also, she made her debut as a competitor in 2025. We have the lovely Mrs. Hannah Longworth. She is a competitor from the UK, and one of course is being an international player from the Himalayas. I'm my man Jerome. I get to get the lovely lady from the other side of the world. It's just so exciting to talk to someone who's a bodybuilder outside of yes, and to get that experience. So, Hannah, thank you and welcome. And as I often ask you ladies, what got you started in sports? I call it muscle and masculinity. Please share.
So I had my 2 children. One is 8, one is 4, and I had my children and I found myself in a bit of a rut. I didn't have any muscle tone. I didn't have a physique that I wanted moving forward. So that was the starting point of ensuring longevity and making sure I was a strong mum for my boys, and trialing out the gym and seeing if it was for me, and it sure was. And here I am to tell the tale. So with that, I went on board with a coach, and he is a fantastic coach. He is a world champion bodybuilder, Guy Harding. So I work alongside him, and I like to call him my mentor, really, more than a coach, because there's much more to it in terms of, they need to understand your personal life, your strengths, your weaknesses. We meet regularly, and he is one of the UK directors for the GBO show. So yes, he is also my starting point, and now we are a team just moving forward. So yeah, long may it continue.
Yeah. And GBO is called the Global Bodybuilding Association. It's well known for a bit. There's quite a few competitors that have competed in that organization for some time. And your coach, sound like he's a pretty good guy. And that's the thing about, you have to have a good relationship with your coach, because there's somebody who understands what you're going through, your mind, your body, your spirit. You have to share a lot of stuff with him, especially when it comes down to your health and your details. And you got your 4 little boys. I know they're proud of their mom, because I grew up with my mother. My mother was a single mother. She had 6 of us. Plus she raised 2, and raised plus my nephews and nieces too. And the quote from a classic movie called Psycho: "A boy's best friend is his mother."
Let's hope.
And mine was, because I took care of her while she was going through her situation, and then and now she's been gone for a good while, and that's you can never replace a mother's love. Girlfriends and wives coming over gay. So what was that experience like for you as a first-time competitor? Getting on stage, training, everything that's involved becoming a bodybuilder.
Well, like you said previously about coaches, you go to dark places for sure. You have demons. There's places that you go to that say only your coach knows or yourself knows, and you get your 2 a.m. thoughts. You're deep in prep, and you get your 2 a.m. thoughts that are terrifying, thinking, I'll just pack it in, I'll give up. Your body is being pushed to extreme levels that, a natural person, like just an average person, wouldn't put themselves through. Like, why would they do that unless you're stepping on a stage for a specific reason? So yeah, my first prep, now I'm in my second prep, I look back at my first prep and go, I messed up quite a few times, and I'm admitting that I messed up a few times. I binged at 2 a.m. in the morning. I cried, I screamed into my pillow, and you think, oh, I'll throw it all away. And then you finally get to the peak week to the point where this was all worth it. And you stand on stage, and it is something that, unless you've stood on stage and been that 1% to get on stage, you just don't understand. It's euphoric moment. It's incredible, and then you just think everything was worth it. And it's not just, you know, having an audience of people clapping or any of that. It's more of an internal thing, you know, when the lights are shining brightly in your eyes and you're remembering all your posing, everything that you've learned from your coaches, and feeling really, really proud of the person that you've become.
The thing is, this is about a sport of understanding how far you want to go as an athlete, the mental aspects of it, the physical aspects of it, also the financial aspects of it, because this
Mm-hmm.
is not a very lucrative sport, especially when you're coming in as an amateur. You
Yeah.
know, you got babies to raise, it's the cost. You got to make sure you pay your coach, your training, everything's involved with it. And most people wouldn't want to make those sacrifices. Again, like, you know, I'm a big man. I like my food. And, you know, sometimes, you know, I couldn't do those, like, I've done it, you know, a bit. You know, I try to be like, because at one point, I talk about this about myself. When I was taking care of mom, I was always 500 pounds. And, you know, because food is seen as a comfort, especially when you're
Mm-hmm.
going through stress or something like that. But then I made
I
this
agree.
choice. Yeah, I made that choice after she passed. I need to take care of myself now. And right now
Mm-hmm.
I'm like a little bit under 400.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a lot, because most people wouldn't want to do this and to do what y'all do. And again, always people gonna point the situation about bodybuilding is like, you take steroids, you take some kind of pill that make you big and muscular. You know, you be like, I just take the parts of the muscles and down and nail it, and then I get to the chopper.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. And yeah, there's lots of people that do take enhancement drugs. I'm personally not one of them. It's just not on my agenda. You know, I've got lots of friends that do take it. I'll be standing on stage with people that also take it. I've got nothing against enhancements, but for me personally, that's just not my journey. So I'll always support, but I'll always support my own choices as well.
That's
So yeah.
Yeah, it's a choice, because you know what, even if you quite a few natural competitors, it's a lot harder to try to build muscle naturally compared to,
Mm-hmm.
because what all those drugs do was just help you recover. You know, it takes
Mm-hmm.
more time to recover after you lift heavy weights. It's tearing muscle. You need to rest. Sometimes you get home, your baby says, "Mom, mom, mom, mom." But I said, "No, baby, I'm tired. I'm tired. You know, I don't feel like I don't feel like chasing y'all. You win." So, so as your experience in this sport, what do you feel like really helps you in your process as a competitor?
So for me, it may sound daft, but my consistency is key in terms of my planning, my organization, like you said, with children, with work. Everything has to add up. The stars need to align to make this process work. And I have to be incredibly regimented, you know, obviously with food, with training. And, you know, my plan for next week is planned out today. There's no room for error. There's no room for, well, I'll just go gym half an hour later that day, because actually the knock-on effect, if I go half an hour later, it's going to affect my food, or it's going to affect my children, or it's going to affect my job. You know, everything has to align perfectly for this process to work. And I can appreciate why it's so hard for people, especially with children or with a full-time job, to make it happen. So for me personally, everything has to be regimented, and that's how I make it work. It's as simple as that.
That's the thing is, you have to be consistent. You have to be disciplined. You have to be persistent, and you also have to have as my other guy would say, you have to have a plan. But he don't have a plan. He sometimes is just chasing cars, and that's the thing is, when you get to sport, you have to set down a schedule, because like again, you have your kids. They have to go to school, have to be fed,
Mm-hmm.
this, that, and then you have to find time for your gym. You have a job. I know quite a few ladies who are bodybuilders who have that. They have responsibilities, family, children to take care of. They got a husband, wife,
Mm-hmm.
whatever else. And you mentioned your career. What do you do for a living?
I work within one of the emergency services in the UK, so you know it's really exciting. It's full on. I work with a great group of people, but it does take up the majority of my week. So it's just, yeah, aligning everything to make sure it works with that. But I've got no intentions of not doing that for my job because I really, really love it. So I think for us as competitors, we always have an alternate identity. So the person that they see on the stage is completely different to the person 12 hours before caring for their children, or a few hours before responding to work emails, or, you just get a version of that person in that moment in time. Which is quite mind-blowing because you can go from one version of yourself to the other within the space of a few minutes. So handling that can be quite interesting for sure.
Yeah, I've interviewed IFP Pro Romana Scottston. She also used to work in emergency services. She had to retire because of you deal with a lot of people and the accidents, something like that can really be traumatizing. Seeing that, shout out to Romana. She's an amazing lady. Hope she makes a return back to competition. She competed last year, but she took a break because right now she's probably she's planning also getting married. She'll be married sooner than later.
Oh, amazing.
So I want to give a shout out to Romana and her husband Dan, her future husband
amazing.
Dan. He's a good guy. Yeah, it's good that what you do is provide a service, helping out people. I've talked to ladies who worked in emergency service, from being nurses to doctors to healthcare. And like I said again, when I was taking my mom, I had appreciation to have people like a CNA or a nurse or help me with her, and I appreciate that. So, folks, while we got Hannah here, we're gonna do this. We're gonna jump to her social media for a little bit. We're gonna follow her. The links is in the description of this live. If it's interesting, maybe to reach out to or support her, or you have plans for her for a future. But guys, and this is no offense to you, Hannah. I do this because there's guys out there. And you are a pretty woman. You're sure a pretty lady. But there's guys out there who are a bit on the weird side. And me, like I said, usually most of my guys are more into the big muscular women, but they do like little petite little girls like you. So guys, she got kids. I think she has a man. Be respectful. No weird stuff. Stop it. Don't do it. Come on.
All hands will be fine.
Yeah, just block. But these guys just get weird. They just get it. Like say, so folks, we're gonna jump into social media for here. You want to check her out, follow links, and you know my rules. So here she are, and she has some nice pictures here. This is this one here where she's sitting in the car. Oh wow! I mean, yeah.
I definitely don't look like that all the time. I'm very much a catfish. I'll make an effort every now and again, and then you'll see me 10 minutes later at the gym and go, "That's not the same girl."
Yeah, this is one here when in the Christmas tree. You're like, yeah, Merry Christmas to me. Santa, you brought me a nice gift. A blonde white woman, a nice little dress. And I think this is these are nice photos. This one here, this is when she's getting all wet, fellas. I mean, who was the photographer?
That was great. That was a great shoot. I did it in the Rain Room. So shout out to Southwest Rain Room in the UK. And they've got a great setup. Yeah, and it's water. And you have a shoot and you get rained on. It's fantastic. Get some great shots.
It used to be back in the days, the classic R&B videos. We'd have the rain. The guy would be singing, "Can I have one wish?" Staying in the rain back in the day. And here she is, and like I said, man, you have a nice body. So well, you don't have to try any harder here. And here she is, and this was your debut show. And what was your place in? What was the critique from the judges?
So that was my first timers, Beachbody, which is also known as bikini in the UK. And I placed first in that class. And the feedback from the judges was to focus on my posing, focus on some adjustments with that, and also continue building some size, because when I started my prep in January last year, I was in the gym, but I wasn't regimented. So it was a case of going through the first prep, doing a cut, and also trying to build muscle at the same time, which can be really hard. And yeah, I simply just didn't have enough muscle mass. So moving forward, that is the natural progression, I hope.
Well, it's like anything about bodybuilding. It's a process of growing and changing, developing, working on your regimental factors to bring in a certain level, especially coming to division. Here she is here, this picture right here. She's Who's the dude on the?
That's one of my best friends. So he's been a huge part of my journey as well. So yeah, he's one of my closest friends. So we have
he,
fun. We have fun.
he's a really good friend because I like to be your friend, Hannah. Because I mean, this is the same guy again too.
Yeah, yeah.
He's a really good friend. I don't know if I can be friends like you. You know, I'm being a man. You know, and this is your boys. You know, and
These are my boys, and that's my partner. Yeah.
yeah. I don't know how he can watch that and say, "Hey, some other man with you." I don't know. I don't know. I'll be cool with it. He's a good man.
Yeah, he's great, and we're all friends, and we all have mutual understanding. He's the father of my goddaughter, so him and his partner have always been very close to me.
Oh, that's great. Yeah, and she's again wasn't another Christmas picture. Wow, you should post this on your Christmas cards.
Yeah, I missed a trick there.
Yeah, that'd be say guys be like say she has a great physique. I mean, classic lines, great look. I think fit model does fit for your stature because you look like you're pretty tall. How tall are you?
I'm about 5'6", between 5'6" and 5'7". So yes, I am tall enough to be in bikini tall. So yes, I am. I am
Yeah,
on the
great.
taller side. I've got long legs. I always used to call myself a grasshopper because I just have these long legs and a shorter body.
Yeah, that's the thing with bikini. They like the longer legs. They like the great extension of it.
Oh, I've definitely got
You,
those.
yeah, because I think again with height and body weight, it's like we talked about earlier. How I think some women chase after. We talked about earlier how we have some women chase after certain divisions, and I think it has to fit with how your body grows. I do a
Absolutely.
lot of content. I do a lot. Most of my content is on women on bodybuilding. I see women. I've been following bodybuilding for at least 40 years. And I've seen women who look more particularly towards like another division than the other. Like in your division, you ever see somebody that you see that's saying, you know what, you're doing bikini, but you look more like figure or body fitness or whichever divisions that you have in your organization.
Yeah, definitely. And I think that people are sometimes underconfident about their abilities. That, people may look in the mirror and go, well, I think I fit here, when actually that they're meant to be somewhere else and they could do so amazing in another category. So it's just having the confidence, isn't it, to, amend your mindset and maybe adjust the goalposts a little bit. For sure. And it's, like we briefly touched on with me being in Fit Model and having that opportunity now to do that category, it's me putting my body in the category that fits.
Give you a second, folks. We might have a little technical difficulty. I don't know what happened. Uh, Hello? We just lost her, because she's overseas and the weather's kind of funny. Let me see. I may have to turn my phone on. Give me a second, folks. Let me just put myself out of the room because I hate this happens, especially maybe I should do pre-recordings, but I like for y'all guys to get some response and to interact with these my guests. So while I am out, I'm going to put myself out for a bit. back. We had a little technical difficulty. Here she is. We're gonna bring her back in. Hello.
Oh, hello, hello.
Yeah. What
Oh gosh,
happened?
I'm having issues because I hear you.
You can't see me?
Oh man.
Well, as long as you hear me, we keep on going. Can you hear me? Well, folks, can you hear me or can
One
you see
second.
me?
I can't hear you.
You can't
So
hear me?
sorry. Bear with me.
All right. Do you let me send you a message if you can't hear me. Let me see this. Uh Go in and out
I'm
again.
so sorry. My device means I can't hear you at all.
All right. You see, I
Bear
sent you
with
a
me.
message to see if that works. It happens, folks. Maybe I should start doing pre-recordings. But I do these lives because I know a lot of you people who do follow many of these ladies would love to interact with them. Um,
Hello, I'm back.
let me remove you. You just move you from this. Let me kick this out. Let me kick this out. So let's see. Kick out of the okay. Kick out. And all right.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
That's all right.
I did
That's
all
all right.
my updates and the screen went black and it
Yeah,
says it needs
that's
to
all
update.
right. That's all right. Technical
Oh
difficulty.
man.
This is what makes life. This is what makes life fun when you have
Real
the
life, real
unpredictable.
life.
The unpredictable. Like you
Oh,
don't. Like I said, the thing about the unpredictable, it's more fun because it's so exciting. You don't have a plan.
keeping
It just happens. We just do.
keeping you on your toes, keeping you on your toes.
Making me as
Anyway,
my as I like say this, my master Raza Gula Demon said taught me years ago. Beware of surroundings at all time, your master George. Never get a sure footing for a killing blow. So back to the situation, folks. We are straight now. We're good. Just things happen. That's how it is. That's why I enjoy doing lives because a lot of you guys love the opportunity to interact with these, these ladies I have on guests. And that's why I do lives. I know I should maybe start doing pre-recordings, but they're not as fun. So anyway, back to surgery. How we talk about how we see women in particular divisions, how they
mhm.
look like more. As you know, the sport has evolved over time. And you see women who are doing one division but look more like they're closer to another division.
Yes, yeah, sorry, that's exactly where we were before my device decided to do something strange. Yeah, and it's just having the confidence, like we said, to be in the category that best suits you and your physique and your figure, so you can showcase your best version of yourself. Because the posing in different categories can be polar opposite. So if your body looks better in specific poses, then you're going to get judged in a different way than if you were doing an alternate category and it didn't showcase everything you've worked for.
Yeah, because you know, as we go this process of bodybuilding, you go in thinking, okay, I think I'm bikini, but then when you train, the dieting and everything you do in
The
that
cut,
process,
yeah.
the cut, and you start looking, you know what? I look more like figure because some women can put on muscle just like that.
Mm,
Some people have,
but
yeah, genetics, and natural talent. That's the two things that can kick in when it comes to be a bodybuilder.
yes, no, definitely for sure. For some people, they can gain muscle in different areas quicker. They can lose body fat in areas quicker than others. Like usually for women, it's up to down. My legs are the last to go, and that's just personally for me. That's how I cut. So my top half's quite lean at the moment, and my abs, but my lower half, it's more stubborn. Basically, and that's how we're made up usually as women. I'm not going to speak for every woman, but for me personally, that's how I'm made. So, 16 weeks out, and I'm starting to see changes, but my lower half probably won't cut out fully until a couple of weeks out.
Because that's why I think it's more divisions in for women there are for men. Men we're a bit for sideways. We're like slender. We're smaller waist, broader shoulders. Women come in so different shapes and sizes. You can be slender, broader. That's why you have divisions like wellness, bikini, fit model, physique, women's bodybuilding. Some women can put on muscle a lot more. Some women are more naturally leaner. You know,
Mm.
it's working with. That's why it works with the build of different people. And with Fit Model, excuse me, you know, its division is a throwback to what women started out in physique. I mean, in bikini. But
Yes.
here's my thing with it. It's going to evolve just like all the other divisions. Like if I go back to women's bodybuilding when it first started, you know, the early women, they used to wear high heels like figure, and then they kicked off the high heels. They looked more like, you know, I would say, early version of figure. Then they evolved. Then you know, you look at someone like, you ever heard some ladies say, you ever follow bodybuilding like Linda Murray? She, you know, a lady I interviewed a while back talked about her. She was, I think, the precursor strategy for women's physique. You look at people like Iris Kyle, one lady who I'm a fan of, and I talk about her, you know, because I think she's so beautiful. To me, she's a woman who changed the aspect of having muscle and femininity in bodybuilding. I don't know if you ever heard of her. That is Andrea Shaw. She's the current
Oh wow, yeah.
six-time Miss Olympia, and you know, and I think when she came in, she changed the aspects of the sport. I'm gonna share this with you, and this is a friend of mine named Eunice. She runs a company called Bad Rap. I'll send you a link to check it out. They do, you know, they work with bodybuilders. They also make, sell and make products for use, especially for women. She was at the 2023 Olympia. This is what she picked me up. This is like she sent to me the week after my 50th birthday, and this is a gift she gave to me. And what makes this gift special, not only that I'm a fan of this lady, she saw her at the Olympia, and she signed it for me.
Oh, amazing.
And you know what? Whenever I get little things from people like my friend Eunice and the other ladies I've done interviews with, I appreciate it. This is what keeps me going. Like as a, you know, because like I said, you want to be bodybuilder for quite so long. Is it other than your coach? Is there anybody you really admire as an athlete in the sport?
So, because I'm pretty much very new to this environment, I don't have anyone in specific at the moment. I think it's because of me going into Fit Model as well, and because it's quite a new category. For me, it's like you said, my coach and my friends, the people I look up to most, because I have close connections to my friends and my family. It's so important for me to relate to them more than, say, someone that I am never going to meet. So that is really important for me. So as moving forward, you know, I'm sure I'll have idols and people I look up to, but right now, being very fresh in this environment, I'm still finding my feet, if I'm really honest, really honest.
That's respectful, because you know what I say, like you're fresh and wet off the line, how we say it here.
I am. I'm the newbie. I'm the one, you know, that's only done one prep, and I'm here to be open and honest about, you know, the good, the bad, and the ugly, and how I am incredibly fresh to this environment. I'm not going to sit here and say I have all the knowledge in the world, or, you know, my posing's the best. You know, I'm not going to do that, because that in life there's always going to be someone bigger than you, better than you, prettier than you, and you know, we can just continuously aspire to be better. So I think for me, especially, you know, being a woman, as you know, and empowering women, you know, we're all different shapes, sizes, our DNA is completely different, and I think it's so important to empower everyone's journey in alignment to your own, really. So it's just having the respect for everyone's journey, however they may do it. And it goes back to being natural or not natural. Just because I'm natural doesn't mean I don't respect people that aren't natural. You know, it's their journey. And if they wish to do it that way, that's great. You know, I'll always support anyone's journey.
Mm-hmm. That's good. That's what, especially, I think it's important to have that support with somebody who has that same common interest. Sometimes women, y'all can't be catty. y'all can, you know, I think with men, if like this is where I was growing up, sometimes we would go with kids, we were bored, we fight, and then, you know, in the end of the fight, we'd be best buds, we'd be buddies, you know. But when you girls fight, and sometimes the girl fights for fun because we get to see a little something like me like that, you know. But y'all go all out, y'all live for the grudge. You like the Outlaw Josie Ware. That's a classic Clint Eastwood movie, ever saw it. And that's the thing, is that you got to find that camaraderie in this sport, because again, this sport can be mentally, physically, spiritually, emotionally, financially draining. And for women, there's more of a cost. Guys do have their costs. They have their expenses. True. But for show day for men, all you gotta do is put on a pair of banana hammocks and boy shorts. That's it. For women, you have to have a great presentation. Your suits must be nice and well put together, beautiful and sparkly. Your hair, your makeup must be good. Your shoes, your nails, everything has to be uh
Just
immaculate,
so.
just about. Yeah. And then the cost of is you have to pay for your fees as an amateur, travel to the shows. And this sport, unless you're the lucky few that have sponsorship, it can be expensive. So are you a sponsor athlete?
No, no, not a sponsored athlete. GBO show, there's opportunities for sponsorships, which has been great. More funding for the show, for the competitors, to put on a great show for everyone. So there are opportunities within the show itself, but I personally am not sponsored as an individual as such, no.
Yeah, I think that does help the cost of travel,
For sure.
expenses, your
Oh,
coach's
yeah.
cost, because he's not doing this for free. You gotta pay him. I know quite a few people say sometimes Georgie, sometimes I have to steal from Paul to pay Peter, because the circumstances of the sport. It seems a hobby sport. It's not as well known compared to other sports. But bodybuilding been around for a long time. Quite a few bodybuilders, especially from the UK, people like Dorian Yates, Bodak. Also, there's Lisa Cross, and ladies I've done interviews with. Amanda Watson. Today's her birthday. She follows me on IG. I want to wish her happy birthday, Winston. Quite a few ladies that are coming from your part of the world. A guy I know, he just did a video talking about how the UK is really growing, really blowing up in the last few years when it comes to bodybuilding. I mentioned earlier Mariana Scottson and several other women and men who compete from your part of the world.
Yeah, for sure. Definitely. There's a lot more going on than there used to be. There's a lot more awareness as well and acceptance. It's growing. Obviously, it's not going to happen overnight. But previously, if you were to say you were a competitor in a bodybuilding show, everyone would automatically go, oh, well, you've got to be hench, or you've got to look a certain way, or we've got to be this, or got to be that. Whereas there's understanding awareness now of the categories, like we spoke about, and understanding, the prep that goes into things. So I think we've come away for sure. There's still a lot of people that don't understand what goes into it or everything that it involves. But, we're here to educate and hopefully, get more people interested and on board and get fit.
Mm-hmm. Like I said, I got through by Casey Calhoun. What's that like? Y'all two are two up and coming competitors. How y'all meet and how did how'd y'all get together?
Oh, it's an amazing journey. So we met on a Facebook page for first time competitors. And we just hit it off. We were just chatting. We spoke about where we were from. Most recently, we've spoken about like trying to meet up, like me traveling over to meet her in person, maybe competing, obviously abroad for me. So we chat most days, the good, the bad, and the ugly. Obviously, we're in different time zones. So she's, I think, about 5 hours behind me. So there's usually one of us awake at some point. So in the middle of the night here, like she'll message me, we'll chat. And likewise, she was there through my last prep. And I shared all my demons with Casey. So never get Casey in a room alone by herself, because she might give away all my demons and my dark thoughts, their secrets.
Well, that's good that you found somebody, especially from another part of the world, that you have a common bond with. Being, both from different parts of the world, different divisions, different lifestyles. I recently was talking. She recently had moved because she was living somewhere around, Michigan, upper state, and she moved. Her and her husband moved, and that's good to find camaraderie with someone who's like a total stranger and didn't find bonds. Me,
so close.
Yeah. And me doing this content, that really helps me. I formed bond with quite a few ladies. Like a while back, we had Thanksgiving, here in the States. I visited a lady I met when I was in when I went to Tampa, Florida. She did an interview about her name is Kristen Ware. We hanged out, even we worked out a bit. I got 2 bad knees like Stone Cold Steve Austin. Sometimes I can't move like I used to, but I hit old boy on his own, and we conversate, and when I talk to you ladies and hear your stories and share them to them, because I want people to understand bodybuilding is not about these big, huge muscle people. There's different types, different shapes, different looks. And then also the aspect when it comes about to women, because again, this is an attractive woman, guys. And I've seen women who are just as attractive as you get comments referring to, you got muscles on there, love. You're getting too much, you're getting too big, you're too muscular, you're trying to be like me, a man.
Yeah. That my most recent post, there's a picture of me in a red bikini, and one of the comments is, if I can remember rightly, too butch. And I'm like, okay. And to be honest, I took that as a compliment because I really don't think I'm butch in the great scheme of things at all. So for me, I was like, I'll take that any day.
What man called you butch? What the hell? Man, I'm a Southern gentleman. I'm from the South. A woman like you're a pretty lady. I will never call you butch. I'll call if you're a female that looks like a butch, I wouldn't say that to you. But it doesn't make sense because
it doesn't. But we have to remember everyone is entitled to their opinion and their freedom of speech. So, and as you know, social media, good, the bad, and the ugly, there will be things that are said on there that maybe people don't like, and we have to take it with a bit of a pinch of salt. If that's his opinion and I'm butch, then God help butcher people than me, because really he's going to come across a lot more people that are bigger than me.
Well, like I said, I've been called things, and I've been called worse by better people. And I tell you, if you don't like what you like, here's the thing is, don't say nothing, mind your own business, move on. You can go look at wherever you want to look at. Again, I don't get it. I don't see it. I used to work different jobs. Many jobs I work with women a lot. I worked 13 years in textiles. I was around women, different shapes, different sizes. I worked several years at as they call it, you might call it a petrol station. I call it a gas station here in America. I worked with my ladies. I worked with cashiers, and also I worked several years in a gentleman's club, or is it a strip club, or we call it a booty club in the hood. And there was different women, different shapes and sizes. What you think might be your standard of beauty not be somebody else's. One man's trash is another man's treasure. And you have a man who stands by you and supports you, he loves you. I don't know, I would, again, I saw a picture of her with I don't know how to be cool with it again. I know he's your friend, but we're men. And again, we're men. We sometimes, I've raised up friends, and some of them we were more than friends, but this thing it's about respecting somebody's decision to find something that's a passion that drives them. And bodybuilding is both a sport and a passion.
Oh yeah, totally agree. And my partner is on board, and he understands that there's depths of prep that I go to, and there's some bits that he doesn't like, and there's some bits that my family don't like, there's some bits that my friends don't like, even my kids when they're eating a little bit of cake or whatever on the weekend, and I don't participate in it. And so there's certain things I have to sacrifice to be able to do this. But I'd like to hope and think that I have a balance and I have restrictions, but it's not forever. This is a very short term, I don't want to call it an issue, but a short term, what people think is an issue for a really long term goal. After my show, I'll eat more cake. That's okay. It's always the cake's always going to be there, but this show isn't always going to be there. So if I miss this snippet of opportunity, and I sacrifice it for something like a piece of cake, when I can just eat whenever after, I'm just looking at the bigger picture, that's it. And for me as well, being neurodiverse and having such a rigid mind, it's been really helpful, because my kids will be eating something that I can't eat, but my brain's checked in, and that's out of bounds, and that's okay. And I don't even miss it. I know a lot of people in prep really struggle because they're looking at cake and chocolate and sweets, and they get really upset or really disheartened that they can't eat it. Whereas thankfully, I don't have that. I don't get that, because when my brain's checked in, it's checked in.
Yeah, it's about that's what's important about having discipline when you get into bodybuilding, because temptations out there, like, just had Christmas just passed, holidays, your babies are still young when they like to eat like mac and cheese and have a nice little
Yeah.
burger and stuff like that. And then, mommy, can you want to have some cake with us? Say, no, baby, I'm on my diet. I can't. And it's be smelling good. Be like, you're like,
I know,
yeah.
I know, I know. But the great thing is about, people that you work with and your coach is that if, like previously, when I have messed up, when I've messed up in prep and I've binged, it's just the open, honesty, transparency. Anyone's got a coach, just be transparent with your coach, because I think coaches find it really hard when, you've not been honest, and then you can't work together and can't come up with a solution. Whereas I could go to my coach now and I could message him and say, I've just eaten a whole cake and I've totally messed up, and we would just come up with a plan and we would overcome it. So yeah. And I never like to look at foods. I don't like calling foods good or bad foods, because I think that is a recipe for potentially an eating disorder. I like to I call foods special purpose foods. So at the moment I'm on a special purpose plan to get where I need to be. And if I eat cake or chocolate, that's because it had a special purpose in my plan, whether it's sugars, fats, anything like that. So I don't ever like to label good and bad food. That is a big ick of mine. So that's really helped me moving forward, because now I don't look at food and I panic. Whereas I used to panic. If I saw a piece of chocolate, I'd panic and start sweating. Whereas now I just go, it's got a purpose. In a diet, whether it's a plan or a lifestyle choice, that has a purpose. It's not good or bad.
Well, I'm gonna ask you this for my other half. It says, where's that thing, that food that, as I call it, it's the thing that makes you stranger but makes you stronger. That thing that calls you. Stare at me, Hannah. Where's that food that's it's your addiction? Yeah, that food that completes you.
The food that completes me, if I had to choose. Oh gosh, where do I start? I'm such a foodie. I love food. So it'd be anything, and anything from, muffins to cookies to any type of pistachio chocolate, Dubai chocolate. My partner knows me well enough to know I can sit and eat. I can out eat most men, which is ironic because people look at me and go, there's no way. Hours I can sit and eat.
I tell you, I know women who are built like you. I have a niece who outate my older brother, her brother, and my younger brother. Both her uncles and her older brother. She grew up with a lot of boys. She grew up well, she was for a long time. She was the only granddaughter until my brother had his daughter, and it's just women. And I've talked to quite a few bodybuilders, and bodybuilders in general are foodies, because food is both a tool and a weapon from it. You can get pleasure from it, and it's part of your process as you grow. It's about the right foods. You can't eat, this or that. You can't have the bangers and mash as y'all have over there. It's just sausage and beans. You have to eat the right foods in your process. We have someone here in the comments section, because it's really early in the morning. I don't have too many guys coming through here, but hey, they come here early saying, shout out to my man, Jeremy from the Art of Female Bodybuilding. He's a content maker and also follows the sport like myself. Says, what is fit body division? What would it be compared to here in the States?
So I thought Fit Model was in the States. I thought
we were about fit body, because I think that's kind of like
body? Yeah, fit model. Yeah. I see.
It's fit body, because I think it's kind of like a version of figure and physique.
Okay.
I don't know. I don't think she do fit body. She do fit model. And she does
fit model. Yeah.
But
if we're talking about fit bodies, many people have fit bodies, but yeah, fit model is a category, and then you've obviously got bikini. But obviously, there may be other categories that I'm unaware of. So
yeah, because she's still brand new. She's still brand new, Jeremy. Because fit body, I think other organizations like a PCA, NBAA, also. I think NABA, they had that division because they do more poses, like figure with high heels, and they do more posing. That's what it looks like. If you ever do any other organizations, I don't know if GBO has it. You can always check. They can tell you about it. But yeah, shout out to my man Jeremy. Thank you for the good question. You know,
Yeah,
and
yeah, yeah.
yeah, but yeah, that's the thing about this: the process of growing, developing, and also dieting and training, and and you mentioned again your family, like your rest of your family, like your parents. What were their
Mm.
thought when their little girl is like on a stage and nearly butt naked?
I think they were more concerned about like my health. I think my parents in their 60s and 70s, both of them, I think that they have a historical view of what fitness was and used to be. And to bring them up to date, for them personally, I'm not saying this is for every 60 or 70-year-old, to bring them up to date with like nutrition, training, different elements of prep, they didn't understand it at all. They went into panic. They just saw my body fat dropping, and they just, they said skinny, we think you're skinny, we think you're not, this isn't okay, this is not what you should be doing. And actually now on my second prep, they're really, really supportive, and they've been educated to understand certain things that we do as bodybuilders in prep to get a certain outcome. And that, yeah, they're super proud. Kids proud, seeing their mum achieve something, which is great. And I think that's so important for children. People, I don't know, if not everyone has children, they may have nieces, nephews, or they may just not, have any family. But for children now growing up, a 5 or 6-year-old, walking past someone in the street and going, wow, isn't that amazing, to hopefully like enrich their future, knowing that they can look up to someone, especially women as well. I love to empower women, like especially for a woman, little children to look up to women and go, either I want to be like that or aspire to that, and just be a really good role model for the next generation. I think it's just so important.
That's the point, because you know what is I said this: our mothers, y'all are our first true loves. My mother and father were together for 55 years, even though my dad was living up in New Jersey for the last 30 of it, and my mom was here with North Carolina with the rest of us and with the kids. And I don't have kids of my own, but I do have nieces and nephews, great nieces and nephews, and seeing them, striving and doing something better than what we had to do. My parents were sharecroppers. They worked to man's land day and night, and raising us, and trying to feed a family. And then my big brother, he was my older brother James. He was the one who was kind of like, for us, he was kind of like the father figure in the family, because me and my nephews, my nieces, he was the guy we really we looked up to him. He's been gone for 20 years. And I really got into this because he used to lift weights. He played football here, American football here in our hometown. He did pretty good. He even went to college. And he really, both of them, both those two people, especially that really had an impact on my life growing up. Taught me things, because one thing, my mother taught me what I need to do for adult. People like my brother, my uncles, my grandfathers taught me what I need to do as a man. And
Mm,
children, they need that. They need that fundamentals in life, and also to
mm,
know that people are different shapes and sizes. I've had conversations with ladies that sometimes children be amazed by, especially if they're a female bodybuilder, because they look like you're a superhero. But then you have to deal with the other people, the adults, who can ruin it because of what they think of women like yourself. And and yes, you're a bit lean. And I think your mother said, "I love. I don't. How about have a biscuit? I don't. Have something
yeah,
like
that's what they do. Oh, why don't you just have one biscuit? It won't hurt.
yeah, you want to have one biscuit here, have a little, have a little, like this and that, hey, you eat, because the thing
And,
is,
and as parents, we're feeders. I do it to my own children. As a mother, I'm a feeder. That's in our DNA. That's what we were meant to do, is raise children and feed them so they're full and they're big and they can go and take on the world. And yeah, for them, they can't do that to their daughter, but I can do it to my boys.
well, my mom did it to us, but the rest of it's my fault, because and and again, like I say, that's good, because you know what, that shows that you want your children to be healthy, to have something. That's important to be a parent. That's I will say, this is always been one of my grades, is not having children of my own. Close to the head was one of my nephews. He was like, you talked to one of your children are autistic. I have a nephew. He was also autistic, and me and my mother took care of him till he was like about 5 years old. And when my mom got sick, his mom came and got him. He's 15 now, and I look at him. I want to cry, because that was my baby. I used to get them to go to school, get them cleaned up. My mom got sick. She one time she told me, "Don't be washing that boy. It's cold today. It's not that cold, mom. Just get the boy washed. He smells. You got to get ready for school." I had to play the parent, and that's the thing is, that's a lovely thing. See your children grow. Children can be a expense, but also they are both a pleasure and a pain. But that's just one of the things about being a parent and being an adult.
Oh yeah, definitely. And like you said, like one of my boys, neurodiverse, and I think as well another reason for me doing the things I'm doing, pushing myself to limits that I am, is because I've recognized that neurodiversity, no matter what shape or form, is a hell of a superpower. Previously, I worked in jobs where I worked with neurodiverse people, and I learned so much about myself through their different views on life. And I always say with neurodiversity with children or adults or whoever, we shouldn't expect them to step into our world. We should always step into theirs and try and view it in the way that they view it, because they could look at a blue sky and see 1,000 colors that we can't see. So it really is a superpower. So yeah, big respect really to everyone that may be neurodiverse, or some people only find out later in life as well. So it's big respect to people that are going through a process to understand themselves better. And for me, my neurodiversity has really helped in terms of my bodybuilding journey, turning up every day, showing up every day. I love consistency, I love routine, I love pattern, and that's my neurodiversity, my personal version. So it's really helped me. So that's why I call it the superpower. 100% all day long.
That's your gift. That's something that helps you in your process. Because one thing I've talked to ladies is it's not about so much is trusting the process, it's understanding it. And when you understand it, then you can trust it fully, because you don't want to just put yourself to something you don't know nothing about. You have to research it. No ladies say, "Well, I just jump into it. I just gotta lift weights and do that." No, there's so much more to it when you get into the sport, because it can take a lot of your time. It can take a lot of your mindset to focus on it. You might have to put some people to the side, because I've talked to ladies that sometimes relationships have changed because you're not making a sacrifice, you're making an investment to improve on yourself. Friendships, relationships. I mean, again, family, because I know ladies sometimes they have talked to their families in years because they got to a sport because it's so extreme of it. But then this is something about you, not about them. If they can't stand by you and support you, that's their problem. So one thing I'm going to ask you again is, we talk about sweets and something like that. Like after your last show, after that long prep, and after that, and you just, there was a hankering, and I often ask these questions, being a fat man myself. Share with me, Hannah. Share with me that thing that you wanted the most after your last show. What did that thing that you desired that was calling you?
So the irony is, all I wanted was a really large Biscoff cheesecake. I love cheesecake. I love cheese. I love cake. So the combination of cheesecake is heaven. But the irony was, I didn't eat it after my show. I looked at it and I didn't even want it. And it was the saddest thing, because everything was ready, everyone bought me donuts and burgers and I just remember looking at it and feeling so overwhelmed. I never ate the cheesecake. So it was sad times. It was sad times. But I think that was more mindset. I think when you've done something so long religiously, you can either go one way or the other, and you can kind of step off stage and just want to stuff your face full. But for me, I was feeling depleted. I was feeling low. My stomach had shrunk. I hadn't eaten much that day. And yeah, I never ate the cheesecake. So next time round, I'll keep posted and I'll try again. It'll be Hannah Volume 2 with tackling the cheesecake post-show. I'll see if I can manage it.
Yeah, I'm not much for cheesecakes. I know my sisters and my brothers, they love it, but I'm not much for it. I'm a good old fashioned. My mom used to bake these 6-layer cakes, handmade, bake them. She had gotten either because we were poor folks, so chocolate was kind of expensive. So sometimes she take and use jelly, or if she could get chocolate, she'd get chocolate, and it'd be nice. I remember one time, this was like about several Christmas ago, and she couldn't do much anymore because she was in a wheelchair. She could move around a lot, and she said, "George, you're gonna cook a cake." I said, "What?" So she was instructing me, and I did pretty good. It wasn't a pretty cake. And I said, "Well, you want to taste it, Mom?" I said, "Yeah." Like, give her a slice, taste it. Said, she said, "Son," she looked in my face, said, "Son, it's not pretty, but it tastes good." That made me so proud when she told me that. Because you know what? That again, I say this, my mother was my woman. I don't have, like I said again, I had relations, but not relationships, but she was my woman. She was the number one person in my life. And I stood by her when she was going through, because one thing she said by me, because several years ago, I have a pacemaker, had it for 12 years. And she stood by me while I was going through my stuff. And now it was my turn to sit by her. And that's the thing about this sport. There's so many physical and mental aspects that can be a struggle. The temptation of food, the temptation of going out and going to the pubs and hanging with your friends, doing this. I know sometimes your man said, "Hey, baby, let's go have some fun. Let's get the babysitter for the kids. Let's do something. Let's do something. Let's do some grown people things." But then, like I said, "No, baby, I have to work out. I got a show coming up. I want to derail this opportunity for myself." And it's good that you have somebody who supports you in that.
Oh yeah, 100%, and it can make it easier in many ways, having the support. And shout out to anyone that does this totally alone and isolated, because like I said, those demons, they are there and they will haunt you in times and places that you don't expect them. So actually having that person there, even if it's just a conversation, just to talk about the weather or absolute nonsense, to take your mind off whatever demons you're dealing with, it's great. So yeah, I do appreciate that some people don't have that. So it's hard. It's hard.
Yeah, because you got to put a lot of your whole heart and your whole soul into the sport. And the decision to, to make that decision to get on stage, like for you being out there, what was that feeling for yourself that first time? All the work, all the practice, all the training, all the posing, and then to be out there and to present your body and do as well as you have done.
If I'm honest, I was shaking like a leaf. I'm surprised I even managed to hold any poses because my whole body was shaking. It really was. Your adrenaline, everything is going at 100 mile an hour. And then things like you've posed so hard and practiced so hard all hours, and then you forget it. You're blinded by the lights. You can hear music, you can hear cheering. You're trying to concentrate when they're saying quarter turn, and yeah, things go out the window. But for me, it was just smiling all day long and pretending that I hadn't made a mistake. I needed to make it look deliberate. If I was to fall flat on my face, I would try and make it look like it was part of the act.
You fall flat, do a push-up, say 10, 12, 13, 14. Yeah, that's just part of the play. I'm good fitness too.
Yeah. Because there's a lot of pressure that goes on, every competitor. I'm not just saying female, male as well. And we are depleted, we are tired, we are exhausted. A lot of us wouldn't have really eaten much that day. We may be low on, liquids. So all our cylinders are not firing. So that moment on stage for some people, I guess, is a relief to get off stage and go, "Oh, I've done it." But for me, it was, let's do that again. The dopamine high was just through the roof.
Yeah, that thing is, like, for us people who are out now, and one of my crimes here, Heather, I admit you, I am what we call a muscle purse mo. And we go to these shows, we see you women all buffed up, y'all shiny and covered in oil and tan, and your rippling muscles that got us excited, But then we gotta realize, again, being tired, dehydrated, hungry, hangry, that's part of the process of being a competitor. We see these amazing bodies in these nice, shiny little suits and walk on the stage, looking great. But then again, forgetting that the fact is that what took you to get there, and also being it's your first time, you have to, get out of your own way. Because sometimes that's what I've learned through this process. Sometimes I had to get out of my own way reaching out to ladies, or also going to shows and talking to people. You know, I'm a bit of an introvert, right? Or if I say it like that, but I had to learn to get out of my own way to do something out of my own scope of what I considered my norm. We have here, shout out to my man DJ Jeff coming through. He says this to you. He says, "You are beautiful." He stole my quote. Well, I'll say it later, Jeff. But thank you, brother. He says this. Also, Jeff says, "How do you support a son with autism? Because I have autism, George. I will see you on Monday." Oh, thank you. Appreciate you coming through. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Obviously, he has a lot of things in place through his education, a lot of things that needed to be set up to make sure he had the best things in place for his future. Obviously, autism is a 360. There's no, you're not at one specific point. Everyone with autism is completely different, so everyone's needs are different. So it's just a case of ensuring his needs are met through all his education, his home life, his social life, building social skills, and yeah, just ensuring that really secure home life. It's been a game changer. And he's got an incredibly supportive school. He's got plans in place, and it's as simple as ticking boxes and putting a routine in place. It's a bit like a bodybuilding prep, but it literally is. The routine's in place, everything's set up, the plan is made, and we literally just keep hopping to each stone along the way. It's as simple as that. And I shout out to any parent that has children or family with autism. You're dealing with differences in your life that maybe the average person wouldn't deal with. And obviously shout out to anyone that obviously does have autism. You're learning how to navigate your own life in a world where we see things completely differently to a neurotypical person. So yeah, it's exciting. So yeah, it's a journey. It's a journey.
I think being a parent of autistic child, I think it helped you in your process of bodybuilding to understand regimen, understand discipline, understand consistency and persistence, because it helps you in your process. It's good that you help him with his, but also helps you in return. It's like you get something. There's a
he's taught me. He's taught me more about myself than I can ever teach him as a parent. So he doesn't realize how much he saved me, which is crazy, and I've got another son who is neurotypical. And obviously, it's my duty as a parent to nurture them, teach them, raise them. But in some ways, my kids have raised me, that they've taught me a lot of life skills that I didn't even realize that I needed or I even understood. So it's amazing. Works both ways.
It makes me think of a TV show I used to watch. I used to work late nights and come home, and I used to watch Japanese anime, a show called Full Metal Alchemist. It's the theory of alchemy, where equivalents change in order to obtain something of less or greater value. And that's the thing is, you have, being a parent and taking care of your children, you have attained something of greater value to you in your process, in your work as a bodybuilder, and just in general life. Because that thing is, from my experience with my nephew, and that was something me and my mother learned, had to be more adaptable and make sure he had everything good going his way, and it turned out pretty well for him. And that's the thing about bodybuilding, there's so much involved in it. When you train, you diet, you're posing, because you sent me a picture, and you're posing, and it's a nice picture. I will bring it up here, but I forgot it's on my phone. I might look at it later when I'm alone. But it's about what the things that help you in your development as an athlete and your process as you grow. I mean, you say you're 16 weeks after your next show.
Yeah, 16 weeks.
And what you feel like, how long you feel like you want to have a life in this sport? You feel like, let's do this for a while and move on, or you feel like you want to do GPO and move on to another division? Like I might tempt you about a division where I do a lot of content on. That's the NPC, and I call it the dark side of bodybuilding. It's one of the biggest organizations, and also there's the IFBB. It's worldwide. So what's your future like, in your opinion, when it comes to the sport?
So for me to compete every year, I will definitely compete every year. I can't say how many times. At the moment, it's just once. I need to be big and brave and actually look outside the box and look at other federations as well. Because I feel like I have this connection with GBO because I did my first time as class with GBO. So obviously huge respects to them for giving me such a positive experience for my first show. And I think I have heard lots of horror stories about some other federations. So for me, it's just being brave and actually taking another step and going, right, I'm going to compete in another federation and I'm going to be big and brave and everything will be okay. But I'm 31 now. I'd love to get to masters. So I'm going to hold out until mid 30s. So I want to compete in masters. So that's where I'll be.
Talking about masters. You're still a baby. You're still wet behind the ears and breath smell like Similac. Talking about masters. But yeah, that's the thing about what you find for yourself in the sport. Either the consistency, the passion, the love for it. The investments and sacrifice you have to make in the sport, and that's why I reach out to women like yourself who are still up and comers. I've talked to ladies who are legends, ladies who's been the top of the games, and everybody has a different story, but they still have that same thing in common: the love and the passion for this sport. And again, it's not meant for everybody. I don't know if I could do it because I gotta train. I used to work out a good bit when I was in high school. I used to lift weights like that, and then I got into the real world, and then I worked out a little bit. I need to get back on it because you know what, the discipline is one thing. I need to work on my discipline. This morning I got up, I had some tea and not y'all have hot tea, we have cold tea, and I had a donut stick. It's a little cake. I had that because I was just I was fumbling around working on some stuff before I did an interview. I was watching TV. I was watching a TV show. You watch this kid called Mutual of Omaha, Wild Kingdom. He used to catch the animals, stuff like that. You still watch that now. And doing this content and learning more about yourself also helps me in my process. I use some of the information I get from you ladies when I hear your stories because like you've been a little pudgy, but I'm a big man, and it takes a lot to make those changes. To say, what, I gotta pass off on the cakes. I gotta pass off on the sweets. When my babies say, hey, they want me to have a piece of their of their food, I say, no, I can't eat it because I'm on a mission and I cannot be derailed by temptation.
Yeah. And it's really hard. Of course it's hard. And I think I post show I rebounded really badly. I binged, I ate, I gained quite a few kilo. I lost my mojo, I lost my drive. And I realize now it's because I didn't have a date. I didn't have a goal. I didn't have anything in the diary. And I think for a lot of people, that's really important. So for me, it was from the 1st of January. I knew I was going in prep. It was a new year and I dialed in because I knew I had a date. And I think that really helps people. They have a deadline. So, if people are struggling, because it's so easy to wake up and go, oh, I'll just have this, I'll just have that, because I've got no goal set, no deadline set. So for me, that is so important. And I presume it's like that for maybe some other competitors.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, everybody has a different experience when they get into sport, and different experiences help us in our process. And understanding the factors that's involved in bodybuilding, understanding also getting critique from the judges, understanding what you need to work on, when it comes to how your body grows, how it's shaped, your training, your regimen, your process. Discipline is very important, as I said again, and also understanding that what, you're going to have those days where you're going to fall. But the quote from my favorite movie, Batman Begins, where he says, when Thomas Wayne says to his son Bruce, "Why do we fall, Bruce? Because we learn how to pick ourselves up." And that's the thing is, you're gonna, every now and then you're gonna have times where you falter, where you're gonna feel like, what, can I do it? Can I go anymore? And then you look at yourself and say, what, I can keep doing this as long as I can feel like I love what I'm doing. I have a passion for it. When it's no longer fun anymore, then I can just move on. But right now, you're at a point where you're still brand new. You still have that love for it. and you still want to be involved in whatever you want to be as a bodybuilder.
Yeah, for sure. And I think it's just being the best version of ourselves, and we have so much power as individuals for the process of our life. We have a choice every day, don't we, when we get up, of what we're going to do today, what we're going to eat today. You know, are we going to go here, are we going to go there? We have a choice every single day, and I think that is a gift. Every day we have is a gift to make that choice. So I am just going to keep ticking over and hope that this prep, gives me back everything that I put in. Obviously, there will be hurdles along the way, and getting to show day is incredible because the sportsmanship, with everyone backstage, a lot of people will have experienced that, and people that haven't competed, they wouldn't have experienced that. So that in itself, male, female, and like you said, you're there in a tiny little bikini. The men are there wearing quite little as well. And from the experience that I've had is everyone's respectful, everyone's kind. You don't get the inappropriate comments that say you may get on social medias. It's a really enriching environment to be in. So yeah, big up to the whole process. Really, really good.
And it's good to have support your family, your friends, your man. Your man gets up, he sees it. That's my girl up there. That's my girl. Yeah, I'm so proud of her. Yeah, but then there's a guy sitting beside her. That's your girl. She got some nice long legs on her. Okay? Hey, broke. Hey, get your mouth out of your mouth for my girl. And
yeah, definitely got the long legs.
yeah. That's but yeah, I think that's the thing about this sport, that there is honor, respect. Also, every now and then you're gonna have some people, you'll have haters, because that's the thing is with me, I love my haters, because you know what? Your energy, it fuels me. It gives me energy to do what I do, because the fact is, you hate so much, I care so little. Because if you don't have the same energy to put towards to make yourself better, why are you wasting it on me? Because I don't care.
Sure. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
definitely. No, it's going to be good. So we'll see. We'll see what this year brings, and yeah, hopefully one day I'll be taking a long flight out, and I'll come to your side of the world, and we'll compete over there, because I know the show that Casey's doing. There is a fit model category in that show, so that there's opportunities for me to come out and compete there. That'd be amazing.
Well, it's a worldwide show, because the thing is about some states, some shows have to be worldwide for you to compete in, because that's the rule. That's the single categories. If it's not a worldwide show, if she's doing a regional show, you can't compete in. If she does a show that's considered a worldwide show, something like if she's trying to get a pro card or something, or like GPO might have a show where you can compete, but it has to be. We do some shows. You always got to check the because this is a worldwide show, meaning that you can come from another country. I interviewed Hannah, who I interviewed a while back. She did a show in Virginia. It was a pro qualifier for a natural competitor, and it was a worldwide show. That's the thing, is that certain shows, like there's a show coming up. I know a lady who's competing. She can do North Americans, and the only people competing are people are within the continental U.S. That's Canada and Mexico and the U.S. Us. And there's shows like Miss International. That's NPC. That's the NPC worldwide show for women's bodybuilding. There's Arnold Schwarzenegger Classic. That's a worldwide show for NPC pro qualification. There's the Amateur Olympia. That's also a worldwide show. If GPO has a worldwide show, we can come over here and compete. That'd be cool. If not, that'd be the problem.
I'll have to find a worldwide one, and I'll jump on a plane.
Yeah, you just come here and support her and be her friend, and she can probably show you around. Maybe you talk to the right officials. They'll let you know what shows that you can come from another country and do here in the States. Because if you actually GPO, they might have some shows for you here. You just got to find if there are, if you can apply for it, being that you are from another country. That's the thing. As I said again, and my master taught me, beware of surroundings all time, your master. Never get a show footing for a killing blow. So, folks, we're not going to hold Hannah too long. She's time out here. I know she got busy training, this, that. She got kids to take care of. Got a man to take care of.
Got myself to take care of.
Got you to take care of. Yeah. So we're not gonna hold it too long. Which question I'm gonna ask you, ma'am? What would you want for yourself out of bodybuilding towards your future?
So for me personally, I just want the best version of myself, whatever that looks like. I'm not putting a deadline on it. I'm not giving myself a specific criteria. I just want this journey to grow and learn and develop, and the stars will hopefully align, whatever that looks like.
Yeah, this thing is just follow your process,
Yeah.
trust your people that are around you, they know they want the best for you, and
Yeah.
also keep working it. It's going to take time. Nothing's going to
Yeah.
come. Nothing's ever easy, no matter as you want it. This is also, I say to people out there who follow women like her, and if you're in her town, in her area, or just if you're interested in supporting her as a bodybuilder, reach out and change interest. But I don't want to hear stories about this guy saying, "Hey there, Hannah Love, you got some nice long legs, you got a pretty tee. I like your accent. So if I do a favor for you, no, you sick freak, I know who you are because I'm one of you. You perv, I know who you are. I have a sense of you. But this is what you should do. This is a lady. She's a mother. She works hard. She trains hard. This is what you present this woman with a plan. You say, Mrs. Longworth, you have a very interesting story about yourself, your passion, being a mother of a child with an autumn issue, with some issues, your passion, your drive. We are a company that like to see athletes strive for their best. So if this is our product, something that helps you in your process as a bodybuilder, and I know you want to be more natural, that's what we want to look for too, and maybe help you in that. If you are interested and want to work with us and be a brand ambassador, we would like to help you, and in turn, you help us. So let us know what you think about our idea for your future as a bodybuilder, and we're happy to help you out and see your future grow. So please, madam, if any problems or any issues, let us know, and we're happy to help you.
Thank you. No, it's been amazing. Thank you so much. Thank you for having me, and everyone's time and your time. And yeah, I'm, like I said, slightly envious of all your snow. So go make a snowman.
Hell no. Hell no. Hell no. Forget that. That was for the kids. When I was maybe 40 years ago, maybe. Now, no. I got arthritis in 2 knees. Forget that shit. You can have that shit. I'll send it to you in a package. You can have that. I'll take your rain any day.
Yeah.
I'll be like Gene Kelly, singing in the rain. Hell no, I'm not need this stuff in no snow. Well, hell no. Hell no. Hell no. And, y'all white people, y'all love y'all snow. No.
Well,
No,
I'm glad we've cleared that one up. No snowman
yeah,
today.
I know. This month is Black History Month in the U.S. and we black. Yeah, I know some black people like snow. Not me. Never had the love for the stuff. Nah. You can't do nothing in it. You can't go nowhere. You're stuck. You're in the house.
You can make a snow angel. You do snow angels. No.
That's for children. I'm not a child. I'm a grown ass man, ma'am.
And there's me. I'm a child in a woman's body. So this.
I'm a man. I'm a man in a man's body. I'm a real man, ma'am. That's where I am. But I do understand your thoughts of it. If you do have kids, you have babies, let them go out there have fun. Understand you're gonna come back sick and you're getting no. I think that's a good thing. I don't have to worry about that anymore. All our babies are grown. Even the great. I think I have my youngest nephew. His youngest child is about 6 months years old. Everybody else is teenagers in their 20s now. I don't have to worry about chasing after babies anymore. I'm done. Miss Scarlett, I ain't worried I had no babies. I'm done. So, folks, I do like to thank Hannah for her time. I shout out to my guest, my man, Art of Female Muscle, Jeremy, my man, DJ Jeff. Whoever watched this video live stream, follow, subscribe, support Hannah, her sport. Ma'am, do you have anybody you want to shout out before we let you go?
Oh, the usuals. My coach Guy and Woody, a couple of the UK directors for GBO, obviously my friends and my family and my partner. And yeah, it's going to be a journey, guys. And I do hope everyone enjoys their own journey. And take it easy. Enjoy the day. Every day's a new day. Go out and smash it.
And don't forget your babies.
Don't forget your babies. Yeah, no,
your
don't forget my
babies.
babies.
Yeah, babies. It's so
They're
cute.
part of
baby.
my identity, so they're just part of me.
Yeah, that's the thing. Because again, a boy's best friend is his mother. You have two good boys. I know they love you, and they, to the end. Again, I say like this: you can always get a wife and a girlfriend, but you can never place your mother. I can tell you that wholeheartedly. I miss mine. There's every day. Sometimes there's days where I sit back and I cry about it. But you know what? She raised me to be the person I need to be, and doing this content, it gives me a purpose, and taking care of her was part of that. And I appreciate the time you took out with me. Shout out to Casey for recommending me to you, and I enjoy these opportunities. I hope we can keep in contact. Maybe someday we get to meet. I don't know if I want to go on plane, go on to the UK. Maybe in the future. I'm thinking about going to a show. I'm thinking about getting myself a real ID. We have to get a real ID now. I can get on the planes. I'm kind of skittish about getting on planes. I'm like, you may have to knock me out like Mr. T in your 18 TV show. But anyway, folks, we'd like to thank her. Appreciate my guest, my man Jeremy. Also, my man Jeremy. Oh, he has to say something before he lets you go. Even though Jeff stole this for me, I'm gonna tell you just anyway. Hannah, you are beautiful. I'm sorry about him. I'm seeing a specialist. We're trying to merge our personalities together every now and then, but he seeps out. So, folks, I hope you enjoyed the week. If you have snow, good. If not, keep that shit to yourself. I don't care. So, anyway, folks, Jim Alloway, George Page, a.k.a. the Emperor of Female Bobby Talk. Don't like, subscribe. I'm out. Good afternoon, good luck, God bless, and good morning. And see you later the next time. And have a happy snow day. I'm going to be home in my house. Going nowhere. I ain't going nowhere.
Go make a snowman.
Hell no.